Is it better to purchase or rent a cable modem? Of course it's better to purchase it. Who wants to rent one every month and pay $10? Much better to purchase it and save a lot of money in the future. Hold on. That's what we have been saying for the past 10 years. But is that true in 2022? Let's have a look at that. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, where we make videos to help seniors understand technology. Now, if you'd like to be notified when we make a new video, just go down to the bottom, go to the notification button. Click that and that little bell, and we'll send you a personal notification when we make a new video. It is all free. So let's look at, should you purchase or rent a cable modem? Well, traditionally we've always taught it's better to purchase your modem instead of paying that monthly rental fee. In fact, the US government passed a law about 2 years ago that required the cable companies to allow you to use your own products and devices for free. They couldn't actually charge you a rental fee if you had your own devices. Well, they then charged an administration fee, and it was the same thing. That legislation really hasn't gone very far, and you'll still be paying something on a monthly basis. So the question really is it better to purchase or rent your cable modem? Now, there are many things that you're going to have to consider. What is DOCSIS 3? What is DOCSIS 3.1? What's Wi-Fi 6? Because most of these devices you get from your cable company now are cable modems and routers. So what about Wi-Fi 6? Lots of things to think about, lots of costs if you're going to go and purchase it. But what I want to do today is I want to look at 2022 and why you might reconsider what we've always taught in the past. So let's look at some unique things that are happening and some advice I can give you. So what we're going to talk about today is your television cable modem. Now, you need to be aware that there are different modems for different services. So if you have a DSL service, then you'll have a DSL modem. If you have a fiber optic service, then you'll have a fiber optic modem. Now, those are rarely purchased and mostly provided by your service provider. However, in the case of a television cable modem, you can purchase these and use them yourself. Now, most of the ones sold today by the service providers are combination. They're a cable modem and a router. So you have to decide if this is fitting your particular unique circumstances. Today we're going to talk about whether you should purchase a television cable modem. And that is something we've always taught in the past is a good idea. So we have to look at 2022, is it worth buying your own cable modem for your television service? And we're going to have a look at that today and see what is the best service for you. Now, if you're planning on purchasing a cable modem from, let's say, Best Buy, the first thing you'll notice when you go there is you'll see this thing called DOCSIS. What the heck is DOCSIS? And you'll see that there are some cable modems for around $60 that have DOCSIS 3.0. And then you'll see the more expensive ones up to $200 or $300, and those may have DOCSIS 3.1. So what is DOCSIS? Well, DOCSIS is the software that your cable company uses to transmit the signal to you at your home. I guess it's like Windows 10 on a PC. But there's nothing you can do to upgrade this. DOCSIS is a standard in which the cable companies use. It is in the modem, and you cannot upgrade a DOCSIS 3 to 3.1. You can't upgrade an existing modem to that. So why would you want to choose one or the other? And this really comes down to speed and the availability of upload and download. So let's talk a little bit about that, because things have changed a lot in the last 3 years. You probably have known that there is an upload and download speed. The download speed is usually fairly fast. You'll 80, 100, 200, 300 megabits, but you'll notice that the upload speed is often a lot slower. Now, that's not So if you have a fiber optic connection, because it's synchronous, they're both the same. Your upload and download speeds will be the same. So why is it so much different with cable modems? Well, that's because of DOCSIS, and that's the limitation of the software. Because when the software when the software was originally designed, it didn't matter. Most of what we did was downloading. But of course, 3 years ago, when the pandemic hit and we learned about Zoom, we learned about streaming, we learned about communication through the internet. This all made a big difference on how we purchase and the services that we need with our cable companies, because now the upload speed becomes really important. So if you had an old cable package that had only a 5 megabit upload speed, and maybe at the busy times it was even less than that, you will have problems using Zoom and other communication tools, because of course our voice and our speak is being uploaded. So now we have to reassess this, and I'm going to tell you about my personal experience in this area. It's March of 2020. Huey and I have decided to start Tech for Senior. I just arrived home from Mesa, Arizona. At home I had a cable package that I'd had for many years. It had 80 megabits down and about 5 megabits up. My cable provider was Shaw Communication, who provide most of the internet service for cable west of Winnipeg in Western Canada. I owned my own cable modem, which I had for many years. And this package with my own cable modem, which I didn't have to pay rent on, and my ancient historic little package for my internet worked well for me at that time. So Hugh and I started Tech for Senior, and the first thing that was really obvious was that this internet package wasn't going to work. The upload speed was way too low for trying to have any effective form of communication. And this, of course, was a big change, because prior to this, really, Zoom, I hadn't heard of Zoom, we hadn't used Zoom, and communication over the internet wasn't this had all changed. So here's a tip. The first tip is that you have to reevaluate old packages that you have. And I was paying a lot of money for something that I could get a much better deal on. So that's the first thing that you have to think about. So I phoned my cable company and asked to have my package upgraded to 300 megabits down and 20 megabits up. I thought this would work very well based on my needs at that time. And they said, that's great, but you have to change your cable modem. Rats, I thought, okay. And of course I had to rent a cable modem for $10 a month. Well, okay, so I need the speed, and in order to effectively create the show, this is something we have to do. So it was. So I said, go ahead, and so my new cable package was implemented. I had the technician come out and install the new cable modem. Was a cable modem router. This, of course, bridged over to my Orbi mesh system, which I was really excited about. And when the technician came to install it, he was a former patient of mine. I'd looked after their families all, and he said, "Hi, Doc, how you doing?" And he said, "Yeah, you'll be happy with this new upgrade." And so he installed my new cable modem, and of course they would bridged it over to my great Orbi mesh router system. So the bridging is something that's important for you to understand, because most of the modems that you purchase today will often be a modem router combination. You can't have two routers on one system, because the router defines the IP address or each individual unique device that you have on your network. So you can't have two routers connected, because they will both be issuing IP addresses, and your system will get confused, you'll get confused, everybody will be confused. So when we talk about bridging, what bridging means is the cable company bridges or turns off the router in the router modem combination and then bridges it over to your router. And in my case, it was my Orbi Netgear system. This immediately solved the problem and was great. I had a no problem at all. Life was good. We were able to use the Tech for Seniors show. It worked well, except my life changed. And in other words, I ended up being a video editor. I was doing big files and doing a lot of video editing. And this really was going to become my life over the next 2 years. I didn't know it at that time, but that's what it is now. So that prompted the next change. So after doing video editing for 3 months and waiting for 1 gigabit files to upload and download, I thought there's got to be a faster way to do this. So again, I phoned up my cable company and said, I think I want to go from 300 megabit down. I'm going to go up to 600 megabit down. And with that, I think I got about 30 megabits up. They said, no problem. We can easily do that. It's another $10 a month. Everything seems to be $10 a month. So $10 a month, fine. But it required a new modem. So guess what? Yes, the technician comes out again with a new modem. He says, Doc, what's the matter with the last one? I just put it in 3 months ago. And I told him the story and he said, yep. He said, and I'm sort of sitting there thinking, oh boy, this is going to be great. Not very many people have 600 megabit down. And so I was discussing this with him and he said, no, I don't put very many of these modems in. And I said, yeah, I know. And he said, because we only use, for the past 3 years, we've only used 1 gigabit modems. I said, what? He says, yeah. He says, nobody uses these. He says, I got a whole truckload of 1 gigabit modems. They all come from Comcast. These are modems, and all the equipment for Shaw Communications is actually purchased from Comcast in the United States. So he said, yeah. He said we use pretty much exclusively 1 gigabit modems now. And I said, well, why would you want to do that? People don't really need that much internet speed. He said it's called Blue Curve TV. And I said, what? And I sort of heard about Blue Curve TV. It's been around now for quite a while. He says, no, there's no cable needed in your house anymore. It all works from streaming. Really? I said, yep. He says, you don't need any cable connections whatsoever. And this Blue Curve TV can handle up to 8 Xboxes on your network doing 4K simultaneously. It's that fast. I said, well, no, I'm not ready to do that. And just put the modem in you brought. And I want you to, and don't forget to connect my Orbi, my great Orbi mesh system. And he said, oh yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem. But just remember, he said, all these modems that you're buying, the combination cable modem from Comcast, are all mesh routers. And oh, I said, really? He says, yep, you'll be really happy with them. I think they'll work just as well as your Orbi. I said, no, I want to stick with this at the present time. So we installed it and life was good. I was able to upload and download a lot faster, and it made my life easier in video editing. So in January of 2022 this year, Shaw Communications opened a store in our local mall. It's a big store, lots of splashy events and so on and so forth. And when I'm walking through the mall, I frequently stop in and talk, and I got to know the manager really well. And I'd stop and talk about tech, like I love to do. So after a while, I went in one day and I said, okay, that's it. I can't get this Blue Curve TV out of my mind. I said, I've got this old system I've had for many years that I bought 15 years ago from the cable company, and it's what I use for my cable TV. So I said, go for it. I've got 6 TVs. Give me a price on putting the Blue Curve TV system in and upgrading to a 1 gigabit system. So he does his little thing on the computer, boop, 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 boop. He says it'll be $10 less a month than you're paying now. What? So guess what? Out the door I went, and the service technician was coming the following week to yet install my third modem router in 6 months to my system. Now, it was not the same, my patient who had done the 2 previous ones. It was a different fella. But anyway, he came in, installed all the equipment, and I now have the new Blue Curve TV. I have a 1 gigabit router, and it cost me actually less than the old equipment that I had. So I have a very fast system now, but it even gets better because about 2 months later, I'm going through the mall again, and again, they had a big sign up, 1.5 gigabit download now. And so I went in and talked to them, and they said, oh yeah, we can do that for you. And I thought, I got to do that because it's going to be faster than Huey's. And we always are going to have one-upmanship there. So anyway, I got the 1.5 gigabit, and no, I didn't need yet a 4th router. So the purpose of talking about this is for you to see the rapid change that is occurring in our existing cable systems. And let me explain why that is so. So let's look at what I've done. Going back to March of 2020, I had my own cable modem and internet package. 2 years later, I've had 3 different modem router combinations, and I've also had 4 different cable packages and a new TV service, all for about the same as I was paying back when I originally started in 2020. All right, let's look at if you are going to purchase your some equipment now and you want to purchase your own modem. So if you go and you look at Best Buy right now and you want to buy a DOCSIS 3.1 modem, you're probably looking at around $300. If you then go over and you want to upgrade your router, and you're maybe looking at a mesh system, and you maybe want something with Wi-Fi 6 on it, the new standard for faster communication, you're probably looking at around $600 or $700. So purchasing this equipment in a rapidly changing environment like we're in now, I think is a bad decision. It's your decision to make, but you're going to be spending a lot of money, and the equipment is changing rapidly. Let's look at why this is happening. All right, why is this all happening? Well, there's this thing called 5G, and this will become the future standard of communication in Canada and the United States. In China, Southeast Asia, and India, they have very well-developed 5G systems, and including China is just installing their 6G system. It's taking a lot longer to implement this in North America than we thought. So the transition into 5G is taking some time. But ultimately, the cable companies will be gone because 5G will be much faster than any data that the cable companies can provide. And they know that because they've all purchased wireless companies and are developing their own systems to integrate into a 5G strategy. So as we move forward into 5G, the cable companies are having to increase their speeds and become more competitive. And this is why there is this rapid change in the speed in which cable companies will be providing their internet. If you have an old package that you've had for many years, like I did 2 years ago, and you're worried about change, I think you're doing yourself a disservice because this is a rapidly changing field with lots of new packages happening even monthly. So the important takeaway message from this is always check with your cable company to see what services are available, and also look at the speeds that they're offering. Now this may also involve changing your modem. And in my case, I had 3 modems in 1 year. So you may want to look at this again before you go out to purchase your cable modem. Well, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. If you like this video, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd click that like below. And if you want to be notified every time we make a new video, click that subscribe and notification. Till we see you again, have a great day.